Okay, hi everyone. This is Dr. Weyoms, and welcome to Moments with Dr. Weyoms. Today with me is a personality that's very interesting. When you listen to him, you'll be like, "Oh, man, where am I? Let me go and learn. Can I carry a book and be and be picking up things to learn?" But it's quite interesting why I brought him today, because there's been a lot on careers. A lot of people have been saying, "Dr. Weyoms, what do I do? What can I do next? How do I go about it?" So I just thought, oh, Dr. Frederick would be able to offer me some insight into what he studied and his journey to the UK. So as usual, I don't introduce the person. The person is going to introduce himself. So he'll tell you
Okay.
about himself. So let's welcome Dr. Frederick Pessu. So you're welcome, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. My fellow Doc. Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege to finally be on your show. We used to hear a lot about Dr. Weyoms, Moment with Dr. Weyoms. So now I'm here live. So for me, it's a great honor. I'm happy to do this. So yeah.
Thank you. So tell us a bit about yourself and kind of how did you end up in the UK?
Right. That's a very interesting one. So, of course, my name is Dr. Frederick Pessu, and I did chemical engineering in Uniport, and probably I think I remember being inspired by from the Niger Delta and the oil industry and all the processes and the gas flaring. I think my motivation was really to solve a problem. So back, in secondary school, behind my house, my school, I used to see the gas flaring from the refinery, and I'm like, this is not good. So that was what really spurred me to do chemical engineering. But after that, I managed to get a scholarship to to come to the UK for my master's, PTDF. Now, the interesting thing is that when I was choosing my course for master's, I wanted to do process systems engineering with Imperial. But for some reason, some people will call it divine providence, I ended up not getting the admission because the deadline was too close. And then they took my documents to Leeds we were the first set of students to do the course for oil field corrosion engineering. And I'm like, whoa, what's this? I've not heard of this before. But the me in me, if you know what I mean, like I went into research mode. So I read through about corrosion. I didn't know anything about it. I read about it. I read a lot, and then I spoke to a senior well engineer in Shell Port Harcourt, and he told me, "Wow, that is a very good course."
Mm.
So that's all I had without any prior interest in the area, and I went in, and I've never looked back. And that's how I ended up in Leeds to do my master's in corrosion, and yeah,
Mm.
and and then I did a PhD as well. So when I did my master's in corrosion, I wanted to leave. I was eager to leave. They said, no, we want you to stay to do a PhD. And I managed to get funding from NDDC, but the university was also able to match the funding to make it a full package for me. Now, that is because I came in and I realized, wow, corrosion is a big deal. So outside, I didn't see it, right? I
Yes.
only knew from guys in the industry there telling me it's a good cause, but I didn't even know how good it was, like what is relevance. So I came in, started doing research, my master's project, and I'm like, wow, there's a gold mine here. And you know what? The summary of it is that everything in this world that we use corrode. As long as we live in this world, every material degrades. And that's what so I've come to realize that, God, this is it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in Leeds. And at the moment, I'm working as a lecturer of corrosion engineering at the University of Leeds. So, yeah.
Hi. Lecture one, corrosion. So it's quite interesting. There's something you said. You said it was a new thing. You wanted a different course, and then you went to somebody, and that
Yeah.
person told you that, oh my God, that is a good course, and you never look back on it. Now a lot of people are coming to the UK, and they are like, I want to study this. Like you studied mechanical engineering, you had a passion, something triggered you to study chemical engineering, sorry, and that was gas flaring and all that. Now you came in and you realized, oh my God, there is corrosion and everything degrades and all that. For someone who has heard this very short brief about you and it's like, maybe corrosion will be my own too, or I'm coming from chemical. What would I want to study as a master's? Present day, current day, 2022. Somebody said, I finished chemical engineering in Nigeria, but I want to do a master's. What would you say? What would you tell the person?
Okay, so this is a very, very important question. So for me, I did chemical engineering. And when I came in, because I started as corrosion in oil and gas related, so you have a lot of corrosion in this environment. But now with the climate change and decarbonization and transition to renewable energy, all of that, we still need materials, and we are still dealing with energy systems, and corrosion is still front burner. And just to give you a perspective, even if you want to use solar power plants, if you want to use nuclear reactors, if you want to use different wind, everything corrodes. The monopile that holds the wind turbine, they degrade because of the soil, wet. The solar irradiation, high temperature degradation, and chemicals that they use, they degrade. What is nuclear reactors, irradiation, destroy materials. So there's always a push for materials, material design, and everything. So if you want to do a master's, now, me doing corrosion, I've come to realize that there's a material part of it, materials engineering part of it, and there is a corrosion side of it, there's a surface physics side of it, and there's a less of a mechanical engineering side of it, but there is still some bit of it. So I came in and I did that when I realized that and I learned that, right? You want to do chemical engineering, if you're doing chemical engineering right now, you can do a course in corrosion for energy systems. Now, energy system is a very wide envelope, but it gives you an avenue to learn different energy production systems and potentially the energy production system for the next 20 years. Okay. Because they are being developed now, right? 20, 30 years. So you're good at, if you're a materials engineer from Nigeria, you can still excel very well because it's about materials, isn't it?
Yes.
So two parts. If you're a materials engineer, if you're a chemical engineer, if you're a physicist, you can still do things in corrosion, but be aware of where the focus globally and nationally would be. And that's in renewable, new energy and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, I think I like the way you're breaking it down, because even me that did not study corrosion, I understand what you're saying. So you said something about key into the global and national thing that they are doing. So there's a lot of climate change, there's a lot of thing about materials, a lot about renewable energies and all. Now somebody hearing you say, this guy has talked about this doc is telling me about this. How do I key in? I'm coming to the UK and I know that it's for Yakwa mood. I want to just Jakwa. How do I key in? What would I be looking at in the UK that would tally with my master's, for example? What key things do I need to be looking at? How would I understand the UK system?
Okay, interestingly, we had a research open day recently in the mechanical engineering, and they asked me to lead a cohort of academic to think about what political timelines that would influence our research. And now this UK and the Western world these are countries whereby research is directly linked to the needs of the society of the country, the direction of flow they are going to. That's what influences their research, and that research has a ripple effect on the design of courses to do for your masters and everything. So if you just want to jackpot, make sure that you jackpot here so that you don't jackpot back. And for you to find in so that you don't jackpot back, it means that you come in, you do get the right kind of qualifications and things that would make you easily flow into the society and be relevant, right? So this is what I would look out for. I will look out for, like now in the UK, we have what we call by 2030, they will not be producing new petrol cars anymore. So that means if you are doing anything related to mechanical engineering or internal combustion engine, you have to rethink what you're doing. If you're going to automotive industry, know that there's going to be electric cars. So they need skill set for electric cars from 2030 onward. In general engineering or energy, we are thinking of carbon footprint decarbonization target for 2050. So by 2050, the net zero. So we know that we are producing the same amount of CO2 from our industrial process and consuming the same amount. So it's net zero, right? Now, for you to then bring it, so one of the areas of my research, for instance, is going to be commercialized by 2030, but I'm doing the research since yesterday. Okay. Now, all of these has a way of influencing the curriculum, the courses available. So you look at the political scale, look at the political space, at the economic space, look at the direction of things, and then see what kind of courses aligns with that. Not what they are now, where they are going. You know, I'll give you another statistics. In part of that discussion as well. So we realized that social care is a very important part of the NHS in the UK, right? And the UK government is struggling. So we in the university are thinking, how can AI, how can robotics, how can all these things play a role, engineering play a role in delivering optimized social care that will bring less burden to the funding part of the NHS. Now, if you can think that way, see that there is a massive problem and see what engineers are thinking, then you think, oh my God, health robotics, medical engineering, right? Will become a very big thing for me to do. If you're thinking about, there's a slogan here in the university that says, for medical engineering, for hip replacement and all those things, they're thinking about, the slogan is 50 active years after 50. People are living longer, right? It means that their limbs could no longer last as long as they are living. Right? So engineers are now thinking, how do we reinforce their limbs, their ankles, their knees? Because we have the healthcare that's making them to live longer. How do we engineer their knees, their spine, their back, and all of that to make sure that as long as they're alive, they can have quality of life? That's what they want. What's the essence of having all this money in these economies and you're able to enjoy your end of life? So this will make you, realize the importance of medical engineering, which is not a very popular course in Nigeria.
Yeah, true.
Right? Yeah. So, but for if you're in Nigeria, then you sort of think, what do I need to be able to be a good medical engineer? You need to be a good physicist. You need to be a good mechanical design engineer. Okay, you need to understand friction and all this surface physics. So once you piece all of that back to you, then you see a pathway. And then there can be multiple pathways as well. There's mechatronics. Now, nobody goes, back at home, they do pipeline surveillance contract, boys will enter people to go and do things. Now, nobody will do that. They will send robots. Right? They'll send robots to go and take real-time data and log it up, So, and these are the skill sets that, that we need a lot more, but that's just the link from the global, national, university course, then me.
Yes.
Is what I would do. Yeah.
Okay. So what if I summarize, you have to look at the course, you have to look at yourself, then now start thinking, okay, does this thing relate to any other thing that the country or the world is doing? That is it. Because you cannot just choose any course and say that is what I'm doing and that is it. Okay. So
no.
Now somebody will say, okay, you have talked about this is the course, this is the this is the that. I have all these things, or I think I have all these things. Would I get a job? If I come to the UK, what would place me to get a job, either industry or academy?
So let me get the last part of the question. What if you come to the UK, what do you need to get a job?
Yes, what would I, when I've done all these things, I've followed Dr. Pessu's idea now and I've gotten this. So a lot of people ask, is there a chance to get a job? Especially mature students. Will I get a job quickly? What would it take me to get a job? What do I need to stand out that will position me for a job?
Okay, it's a very, very important question. And I think sometimes too, we tend to focus on the wrong things that we think will help us to get a job. In this country, there's a sense that there's a skill shortage, right? That is very kind of, sometimes the biggest challenge for us is not about our skill set, it's how much we integrate with society.
Okay.
And it's more of social engineering than actually the actual skills. So when you get into the jobs, you realize if you're able to integrate easily into the society, you lose confidence, and if you lose confidence, you can easily sell yourself. Everybody is a salesman, but only those with confidence can actually sell themselves very well, right? So, but
Yes.
what gives you confidence? What gives you confidence is if you feel connected to your environment, you feel safe in the environment, you know. And one of the ways to feel safe in your environment is to try to connect with people. Now, you don't have. I'm not saying be friends with everybody, but have something fundamental about you that makes it not repellent, even if you're not going to be attracting everybody. So that in the spur of the moment, you can strike a conversation with anybody. In the spur of the moment, you can go to the bar, you can drink J2 while someone is drinking beer if you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
But you still manage to maintain some level of integration. And then you see that you end up removing a plague from the eyes of the people that will potentially see your value and employ you. You know, so it means that at the interviews when you go, how you and your handshake, how you not like handshake, but how you connect to people. We don't really pay attention to that. We think a lot because at the end of the day, as individuals, whether you're from Nigeria or you're from here, if you go through some level of education genuinely, you will have almost the same skill set.
Yes.
You know, the only difference is that one is selling themselves more confidently than the others. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm focusing on the other side. Because if you come in here and you do a master's, that means you've been trained here, right? And for now, they have a 2 years post-study work visa. It's an opportunity to get into the society. You don't even have to wait until you finish your master's. You're doing some part-time job, for instance. It's an opportunity to don't go and do the job to earn money. Go and do the job to know the people. You know the people, know how they think. See them for who they are, let them see for who you are. So that when you are going for a proper job interview, by the time you finish your master's, you know the people you are dealing with. Imagine if I was on a table representing Nigeria, right? Negotiating on behalf of Nigeria against Britain.
Yeah.
And they know that I spent 20 years here. How do you think they come up with good? do you know? How do you think we go? Because
I know you. I know how you think.
I know how you think. I know you eat rice pudding every time. You think you have great food, but I know you. So that's that's why I want to focus on that, because don't worry about job, whether you get a job. When you come in to do your master's, make the most. Now you have to study, but make the most of that first master's year.
Yes.
If you want to do a part-time job, be intentional about relating with society, knowing people, know how to think, but also be good at what you do, develop the skill. And then when you go for interviews, try and know how let me tell you, in this country, the best thing, just know how to sell yourself.
Yes.
If you can sell yourself very well, you'll be fine.
Okay. Sell yourself.
Because there's sell yourself, but there's some kind of skill shortage. But if you don't sell yourself, they won't see you.
Okay, so there's skill shortage, but sell yourself, and society comes in place. So you cannot say I'm coming to do a master's and dissociate yourself from society. You have to be in the society to know what it is. Okay, so we're kind of wrapping up. I just want to know, Doc, what are your career must-haves and your career must-have-nots?
Okay. Now I will be very specific in my career. So I'm in academia. We do research, we get so excited about research, sometimes we get lost in our mind in the research. And then when I talk to people about my research, sometimes I tend to forget that sometimes I'm talking to people that are not in my field. But one of the things I say is should have an open scientific mind. And I'll tell you a story. So this is a very fascinating story. So one day my former boss, she's retired recently. She was watching the news, and do you know this Evian water? There was now in the news that there are some tests they did and found some particles inside and everything. The next day, she brought some Evian water to the lab and asked for the postdoc, let's go and do some characterization of the water and see what is inside. There could be a research idea, a research opportunity in that place. And so the news, sometimes we get ideas from the news by just listening to the news and seeing what people are thinking. So for instance, another example I'm going to say is, I know people talk about nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactor is fusion, but there is one that I shared on my LinkedIn recently about fission. If fission, the physics or the science of fission is perfected, it's like mankind will create the sun, the energy of the sun here on Earth, and nobody will depend on oil anymore. That hasn't happened yet.
Sorry to cut you on
I've
that.
already
Sorry to cut you.
yeah.
Did you read the news yesterday about Dubai, which Arab country trying to create artificial sun?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, because let me for people watching. Let us imagine this. People are talking about crypto, blockchain, the future, Internet of Things. These will require huge energy demand that maybe oil cannot satisfy. Solar will not be able to meet. Nuclear will not be able to meet. So they are thinking, they know, how do we meet? Imagine how many people are connected with their phones, how many energy, So that is so we are thinking, man, if nuclear fission comes, I need materials that will withstand the temperature of the sun, right? That's where corrosion comes in. That's my research. So you can see, you need to have a very open scientific mind. You should be curious to the depth of things, and you must be able to get critical information from everywhere around you, everything you see, And there's one thing I wrote down here. I said, you must see the world for what it fundamentally is. And sometimes we lived in this world, all the things I've just explained now about creating the sun, energy, blockchain, that is somebody being able to see the world fundamentally beyond all the buzz about things happening on the top. We know people are thinking underneath that says, man, we need energy, blockchain. Do you know that the blockchain, people are mining Bitcoin, they're using energy from volcano right now somewhere. Okay, the heat from volcano, they are trapping it to. So some of these are our computers right now. All the internet thing, there is an hardware somewhere they are trying to bury underneath the sea because it's overheating. You need to cool it down. So see the world fundamentally for what it is, beyond all the butterflies and social media buzz and everything that is out there, So these are the things, and you cannot wing your way in my kind of world. You cannot just wing your way around it like just by chance, if you're working in when you're doing clerical jobs sometimes, okay, this is some days you can get away with not doing anything. Some days you can, that kind of thing. But in the job that we do, when we sit down, we are quiet. Our mind is a landmine, right? It's just going explosive. So it's not always good though. And I will say this: it's not always too good because people always pay the price.
Yes, yes.
And most time is the other beautiful things in life that we neglect for all these things. But yeah, this is what you need to succeed. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So what would you not have in your career? What are your must-have notes? Like,
Yeah. Okay. I think I mentioned one just now, not winging your way.
Yes.
So don't, the thing I always try, don't in my career, you're running your own race.
Okay.
And sometimes if you're working with a colleague, because at the end of the day in academia, you'll get an idea and you need funding, you write grants and everything, you get the funding. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes somebody might have even not as good idea as you have, and they will get the funding depending on the field of industry. So you don't feel that you are competing with anybody. Because remember that the ideas in your head that is pushing your career, they're all in your head. Nobody else outside is seeing it. And nobody can see how creative your mind is, until you say those things to them. So don't compete. Maybe the one idea somebody has is actually because it put you under unnecessary pressure, and it will block out the headspace to really be creative with science and research and all the things we do. And if you want to be having deep knowledge about things, if you want to know the word fundamentally for what it is, you don't need to put a lot of baggage thoughts in your mind.
Yeah.
So just be sure that you're running your own race. It's very difficult in the world we live in today. Honestly, okay, the world has, the world has set benchmark reference for us. Ignore them. They're just noise. ignore those noise and just do run your own race. And you probably one day develop a research. So let me give an example. It's your field, Doki.
Yes.
Why this is very, very fundamental for me, I think. You know, these mRNA vaccine technology,
Yes.
it's been
Yes.
around for 30 years,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and nobody cares about it. Nobody saw how lucrative it's going to be. And then, bang,
COVID.
the guys that did the research, they're not billionaires because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how it is. That's what ideas are for. They can be the incubator for so many years. Just keep at it. Make sure you're doing the right things, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a must not. Don't just run your own race. Don't think
Uh-huh.
about.
I'm liking this. I think I like the part where you said things can be in the incubator for a long time and boom, something will
Boom. Yeah.
happen. Something, I think I've learned that from my father. So many things are in the incubator and 30 years or even 15 years down the line, people are talking about it. You hear him say something where I don't do since it's
Yeah.
not you are coming out.
Yeah, because when you're in this kind of, if you have that kind of mindset where you are seeing the world 30 years ahead, remember, you are there, people are just catching up.
Yes.
So because the rest of the world are just catching up, right? So they might not really buy in your idea. But then when you have started moving on, they will not come, oh my, this guy said this in that time. Hi, where is he? They will come for you.
Yes. So that's it. Thank you so much, though. Thank you so much. Just any final words for anyone? Is there any final words for someone? It doesn't matter what field, but anyone who's pursuing a career, anything.
Yeah. Well, I know. I read the book by Michelle. Not read. I watched some of the extract from it, and I realized that Obama winged. Obama wasn't. He didn't wing his way. Obama was always swerving, right? Michelle was a fixed one. Family values, structured lifestyle, and everything. He has a fixed point, but he was always swerving, meaning he was adapting to the direction of wind, the way it was blowing. And that is how he swerved until he became the president of America. But the wife said something. Even while he was swerving, he noticed while Obama was working as a community organizer that, damn, this guy is going to be president of America. And Obama only successful election after states, whatever, was to go to the Senate once, and within 2 years, he ran for president and won. If he had not had the attribute, within 2 years of the Senate, he would think, I have to do 4 years or 6 years of Senate before I become president. So swerving around a fixed value is very critical. It means that you hold on to your core values in any field or career you are in. Wherever the wind is blowing, you're able to swerve and adapt. You bend a little bit, you come up, you deal with challenges, you rise again. The same with Obama, with losing some elections. At the end of the day, you find your way and you go to your destination. Yes. But remember, Obama was swerving around a fixed point, meaning that there should be a core value. There should be some core principles. There should be some things that will guide you in your career, whatever you are, whatever field you are.
I like that because I always emphasize on value. If you don't have value, you will not be able to navigate. So I like that analogy of Obama swerving, but in a fixed. Yes. So thank you, Doc, so much. People, you guys have heard. If you want, you can ask him questions. He's on LinkedIn. You can find him on LinkedIn if you've got questions for him. He's very busy, but I'm sure he would attend to you when he's free. So thank you so much, Doc, for being with us.
Thank you so much. It's always an honor. Thank you, Doc. Yeah, I'm not getting a sticker badge since I've been on Moments with Dr.
Of course.